And welcome to Dream, where we are focused on connecting to and building community. We are committed to helping individuals break cycles. We are delighted that you have taken the opportunity to join us. So prepare yourselves for this week's teaching and equipping session. Get ready to be educated, equipped, and set free as you listen to this week's broadcast. And thank
Welcome. Welcome once again, Dream Family. Congregation, thank you for once again coming back to us. This is Dream South with another session on Sunday. We thank you and we want to just let you know that we are happy to serve the people. We're bringing the messages straight from God's mouth through our bodies straight to your ears. So we're praying today that everything that is being taught today will cause you to make changes in your own life, to reflect and see for yourself, where can I change at? This will cause you to thirst after God, to run towards God, to build that relationship with God. And again, we are here to fellowship with you. It's just like you're here to fellowship with us. So again, welcome. Before we start, we always want to do a quick word of prayer just so we can get in that atmosphere, that mindset of being on one accord with God. That let us go before God before we dive into this message. So let us bow your heads. Most gracious and powerful and all wise God, we are here, Father in heaven, waiting for the message that you wanted to deliver to your people. Praying, Father in heaven, that I decrease and while you increase. We thank you for everybody that's participating, that came through to listen to your word, God. I pray, Father in heaven, that this message will touch the ears of those that need to hear, that cause them to make changes in their lives, to let them reflect not just on your goodness and your grace, God, but what they can do to better serve the body. So we thank you and we honor you, Lord, for this day. Lord, forgive us of our sins, those today, those known and those unknown. Let us continue to walk in forgiveness, humbleness, and thankfulness for what we have and what you've done. And I pray, Father Heaven, that we continue to spread love and kindness and gentleness to everybody. Let you have your way right now. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay. So you already know the title. This is a continuation of Truth Tuesday. For those who did not see Truth Tuesday, you can always go back in the replay and just get caught up with what we're talking about today. So before we start on that, I'm going to give you a quick recap of what was discussed on True Tuesday. So we was talking out of the book of Genesis, chapter 26. I'm sorry, 25, chapter 25. And it's the story of Isaac and his wife, Rebecca, who was married and they had children. They actually had twins and they had separate personalities. As they grew up, one was a skilled hunter that loved to hunt, loved to go out there and gather, get food for the family. Okay, and that was Esau. Esau was the skilled hunter. And he had another son named Jacob, who was quiet and he was more so like a homebody. Okay, and further into the chapter, as you all know, that Esau was the firstborn. Esau was the firstborn, and when they was born, Jacob, as he came out, was clenching onto Esau's heel. Okay, so by being the firstborn, you have what's called birthrights. And birthrights, I'm going to give you another, the definition of that is a special inheritance bestowed upon the firstborn son. Okay? A special inheritance that's bestowed upon the firstborn son. Now, inheritance is primarily referred to land and possessions passed down from parents to children, often divided amongst the sons. Now, with having a birthright, the firstborn gets a double portion of everything, right? Before it's divided amongst the other children. So, and not only that, he also has leadership role. So if the father was to pass, he would have to step into that leadership to lead the family. So he's got it's a huge honor and also a huge responsibility at the same time. Okay, so as we go on, Esau went hunting. Esau went hunting like he normally do out in the open country, gathering, hunting for wild game. Okay, so when he came back, he was famished. It says in the Bible that he was famished. He was exhausted. He was so hungry. All right, so he went to his brother, his twin brother Jacob. Jacob, listen, I'm hungry. Can you please feed me? I need something to eat. I need something to eat. Now Jacob, being the second born, he did a little selfish act. He said, "Sell me your birthright, and I will feed you." Esau obliged him and did that. Now, Jacob did it for a reason because he wanted that birthright. He wanted the double portion. He wanted the special inheritance. And Esau forfeited and gave it to him for a bowl, as it says in the Bible, a bowl of stewed lentils. A bowl stew of lentils. And I made a joke about that, said he traded his birthright for a bowl of Campbell's soup. And like I said before in True Tuesday, I said, do not forfeit your inheritance. That inheritance was for Esau, and he gave it up. He totally disregarded. It says in the Bible that he despised having that birthright. He didn't want that responsibility. He didn't want it, and that's why he did it. So as we continue into this story, because it basically set the stage for the dynamic relationship between Esau and his brother Jacob. All right. So we're going to start Genesis 27, and we're going to go through 1 through 4. Now we're going to go through this step by step and make sure we have clear word, that we have it clear. Okay. So as we start on verse 1. When Isaac was old and his eyes were so weak that he could not see, he called unto his older son Esau, and he said to him, "My son." Esau answered, "Here I am." He said, "Look, I am old, and I do not know the day of my death. So now take your hunting gear, your quiver, and your bow, and go out into the field to hunt some game for me. Then make me a delicious meal that I love and bring it to me to eat, so that I can bless you before I die." So Isaac don't know how much longer he has. And he said, before I take my final breath, let me bestow upon you my blessing that's going to carry you out. And I want to make sure that the inheritance is stated and that is instilled in you. Okay. Now he's preparing his meal because he's basically setting the atmosphere. I talked about it before when you come to what's the importance of fellowship. And part of fellowshipping is the breaking of bread, the encouragement, the speaking life, to pull on one another and help one another and everything. But most of all, it also can talk about being a blessing. And that's what he was setting the stage for. Isaac was. He wanted to make sure he wanted to have that perfect meal. He wanted the atmosphere to be set and right for his son when he gave his blessing. Okay, so we move on. Verse 5. Now Rebekah was listening to Isaac when he was speaking to his son Esau. Ear hustling. That's what they call it. I think that's what they call it down here. They call it ear hustling. Something that wasn't meant for you to hear, but you got your ear out there ear hustling. Okay, so let's continue. So while Esau went to the field to hunt some game to bring it in, Rebekah said to her son Jacob, "Listen, I heard your father talking to your brother Esau. He said to bring him some game and make a delicious meal for me to eat, so I can give the Lord, so I can bless you in the Lord's presence before I die. Now, my son, listen to me and do what I tell you. Go to the flock and bring me 2 choice young goats, and I will make them into a delicious meal for your father the kind that he loves. Then take it to your father to eat, so that he may bless you before he dies. Now, it's something that I forgot to mention. Isaac loves his son Esau. And what he really loves about it is the fact that he loves the wild game, the meals that he prepared for him. So his love was for him. Not saying he didn't love Jacob, but it kind of makes it seem like he loved Esau maybe a little bit more. And Rebecca loved her son. And he was a quiet person. He loved being in her presence. And it kind of says like she loved him more, so much that she was willing to deceive her own husband to make sure her son got the blessing before Esau. Again, what I said, even though Esau sold his birthright to Jacob, he's still the firstborn, and he's going to get it first. He's still going to get that double portion. But Rebecca had other plans. Now, if you go back to Genesis 25, and it talks about when Rebecca was pregnant. When she was pregnant, it says that they was jostling in her womb, wrestling, tussling with each other in the womb. And she said, what is happening? And she went to the Lord and said, what is happening to me? And the Lord spoke to her and said, you have two nations inside you, separate. Okay? One is going to be, the oldest is going to serve the youngest. Okay? So God already told her how this is going to play out. But as we go through these scriptures, you will see that Rebecca was getting in God's way. Well, I'm going to make sure that the words that were spoken from the Lord is actually going to play out. But you realize that God don't need our help. God's in control. We don't understand his plan, but he does. That's why we ask for understanding, clarity. But we for sure ain't supposed to be in his way. What God's plan and what he has for us is God's plan, and that's what he has for us. Who are we to stand in his way? And that's clearly what we're seeing right here with Rebecca. She's getting into the way by being deceitful to her own husband, the one that she loves, the one that she cares for. She's willing to risk it all just for the love of her son. All right, so we're going to continue. I believe I was at verse 6. Rebecca said to her son Jacob, listen, no, I take that back. I already read that. Now, verse 8, now my son, listen to me and do what I tell you. Go to the flock and bring me 2 young goats, and I will make them into a delicious meal and the kind that he loves. And then take it to your father to eat, so he may give you the blessing before he dies. Now Jacob, verse 11, Jacob answered Rebekah, his mother, look, my brother Esau is a hairy man, but I am a man with smooth skin. Suppose my father touches me, then I will be revealed to be a deceiver and bring a curse rather than a blessing on myself. Okay, he's thinking about himself right now. He's not even thinking about, oh, you're trying to get me to deceive my father. He's only thinking about himself in this point right now. It goes on further on verse 13. His mother said to him, your curse be on me, my son. Just obey me and go get them for me. So she basically took the full brunt responsibility of the actions that's about to take place. Let the curse be on me, son. She's willing to do anything and everything to make sure that her son get that blessing. Regardless of the consequences, I want to make sure you are set up. When we dive more into this, you'll start to see the chain reaction of what's sin, and the main thing is deceiving, which is lying. Everybody knows that regardless of the fact that the 10 Commandments wasn't given to them at that time, remember Adam and Eve, they ate the apple so they would know right from wrong. So it's instilled in all of us, all the descendants from there on out. It's in us. So they know that they're being deceiving. They know that they're lying. They know that they are plotting on taking Esau's blessing away from them. But that doesn't stop them. The enemy is crouching at their door. It's crouching at their door, and they don't even see it. They don't understand what the consequences going to unfold later on. All they thinking of is right now. We'll worry about that later. But I'm here to tell y'all, don't do that. You never want to, you want to be a man. You want to be a woman of your word. You want to be steadfast and upright and righteous in everything you do. That's why God blesses you. He did that for Abraham. Blameless, selfless, upright, so that he blessed him, not only him, but his descendants that follow after him. And if you really deep dive into it, Isaac was a straight descendant from Abraham. Okay, so from Abraham, that blessing passes on to his descendants, his sons. See, Jacob already was blessed. Esau was already blessed. But Jacob and his mother felt like they deserved more. Why do you feel like you deserve more? If you already blessed, why can't you be satisfied with the blessing instead of worried about who has more than you? If my sons, if I gave them one $5,000, and I'm using money as an example, but I gave Kavion, my oldest, $6,000, I wouldn't expect for my youngest to be mad at the oldest because he got 1,000 more than me. You didn't have a blessing in the beginning. You only had the blessing once I gave it to you. So you was blessed already. That doesn't mean I love that one more than the other, but I'm following the order of what it is. He's the firstborn. He gets double portion. That's how it is. But regardless of the fact, you're still blessed. And we as a people, we are blessed to be a blessing to others. We're never supposed to be spiteful. We're never supposed to be mad and upset at the next person because of what they got. If anything, you need to go to the Lord and be like, whatever it is that I'm not doing, let me be righteous in your sight, because I want the blessing as well. Whatever it is you have in store for me, I want to be grateful. I want to be grateful for that. And see, Jacob and his mother was sidetracked from that. All they can see is, we want that double portion. I want him to have it all. And that wasn't right. That's not right at all. So as we continue to verse 14. So he went and he got the goats. He obeyed the commands of his mother. He went and got the goats and brought them to his mother. And his mother made a delicious food for his father, which he would love. Then Rebekah took the best clothes of her older son Esau, which were in their house, and gave it to the younger son Jacob to wear. She put the skins of the young goat on his hands and the smooth parts of his neck. Then she handed delicious food and the bread, and she made it to her the bread she had made to her son Jacob. So look at how far they're going with the deception. Not only am I gonna make this food, it wasn't wild game. It was two young goats that they had probably in a pen or whatever the case may be. She prepared the meal, and then she took the skin off the goats and put it on her son Jacob, just in case the father touched him. The deception will continue. He'll believe that. How far are you gonna go to get a blessing? Deceitfully, though. You're lying, you're cheating to get the blessing. A blessing is something that is given without no malice, without no deception, none of that. It's like it's a free blessing. It feels better to be blessed like that than to actually lie and cheat to get it. But he wrapped it around the neck and the hands to pass to copy his older brother arms and neck and everything, so he can be perceived as his son, Esau. And all this time, Esau is completely oblivious to what's going on because he's out doing what he said his father told him to do. And they was plotting on him all along. So now we go to verse 18. When he came to his father, he said, "My father." And he answered, "Here I am." "Who are you, my son?" The father may be blind, but his discernment kicked in. Something don't seem right. He can tell just by the voice. Say it again. "My father." And he answered, "Here I am." "Who are you, my son?" He didn't even recognize who that was because he couldn't see, right? Jacob replied to his father, "It is I am Esau, your firstborn." I want y'all to keep track from between Genesis 27, 18 to 24, because I'm going to have a question to ask y'all. It says, Jacob replied to his father, "I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done as you told me. Please sit up and eat some of my game so that you may bless me." But Isaac said to his son, "How did you ever find it so quickly, my son?" Remember back when Esau went hunting and he said he was famished. If you think about it, that means he was out there for a long time. He was out there hunting for a long time. You can't just go out there and kill something and bring it back. You actually have to stalk whatever you're hunting. And it takes a lot of finesse. It takes a lot of, you got to have a strategy, if you will. You may look up, but 9 times out of 10, you don't. So he was out there hunting for a long time. And when Jacob was pretending to be Esau, he literally just sent him on his way not too long ago. For him to come back and have it prepared the whole 9, it seemed a little bit off to Isaac. So he asked him, "How did you ever find it so quickly, my son?" And he replied, "Because the Lord your God made it happen for me." Then Isaac said to Jacob, "Please come closer so I can touch you, my son. Are you really my son Esau or not?" So his discernment, like I said, is kicking in. And he's want to make sure. So Jacob came closer to his father, Isaac. And when he touched him, he said, "The voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau." He did not recognize him. But because his hands were hairy like those of his brother Esau, he blessed him. And again, he asked, "Are you really my son Esau?" And he replied, "I am." Now, I said I had a question for y'all. And I hope that y'all was paying attention. My question to you is this. How many lies did Jacob tell his father? When I read this, I had to read it a couple times because I wanted to make a point out of this. If you counted it up from 18 to 24, Jacob lied to his father 7 times. 7 times. And in the Bible, it says that 7 is another way of saying completion. 7 equals completion, the number 7. It took 7 days for God to make the earth and everything, and he rested on the 7th day. He lied 7 times to his father. Each time was another nail that he was driving in. He sat there with a straight face, goat skin on his neck and his hands, and lied to get that blessing. So not only do we have the mother who plotted the deceitful act, but now his son is carrying out that deceit. All along the while, granted, the Lord said himself that the oldest will serve the youngest. Rebecca had no reason to get into God's way whatsoever. And we setting up the son to follow those footsteps. See how the enemy creeps in? He don't want to just get the head, the woman, but he want to get the children also. And that's how lies and that's how being deceitful and being not trustworthy acts. That's how it is. It's a slippery slope. And even though he's telling so many lies to make it true, but all it is true lies. We see that a lot in this world, in this society today. What are we willing to do for the fame and the fortune? What are we willing to sacrifice? We sacrifice our integrity. We sacrifice the relationship that we have with God. And we want to do anything and everything to get what we want. What we want, not what God wants for us, but what we want, our own selfish desires. You could have had all these blessings if you would have followed God. If you would have been open and honest with your Lord. If you would have been upright and righteous in everything that you do. Abraham was, I'm sorry. And God blessed him exceedingly abundantly, more than he ever asked for. But when you try to lie, steal, kill just to get to the top, that's not going to last long. And we as parents, we need to be instilling in our children. We don't want curses to fall on our children. Yeah, you feel like you getting away with it now, but it's going to go down the line. This is how generational curses is born. The woman lied, his mother lied, and then got his son to do the same thing. His son to do the same thing. When we supposed to be teaching our children better than that. We teach them when they coming up, don't lie. Just be honest. The truth shall set you free. Because we want them to be upright citizens. We want them to be upright. We want them to always be honest with one another, including to your parents. He's dishonoring his father. And that's one of the commandments. Honor your father and your mother. For your days will be long upon this earth. And he did 7 times he lied. Now, I don't know for sure if every time he did that, it was shortening his life. But you and I both was in the Bible. What did God say? For your days will be long upon this earth. And that was not honoring his father. That was dishonoring his father. As we continue, verse 25. Then he said, bring it closer to me and let me eat some of my son's game so that I can bless him. Jacob brought it closer to him. He ate, and he brought him wine and drank. Then the father Isaac said to him, please come closer and kiss me, my son. So he came closer and kissed him. And when Isaac smelled his clothes, he blessed him and said, "Ah, the smell of my son is like the smell of the field that the Lord has blessed. May God give to you from the dew of the sky and from the richness of the land, an abundance of grain and new wine. May people serve you and nations bow in homage to you. Be master over your relatives, and may your mother's sons bow in homage to you. Those who curse you will be cursed, and those who bless you will be blessed." Jacob took Esau's blessing. They took his birthright, and now he took his blessing. It's been accomplished, right? But he had to deceive his father. He had to plot and scheme, and he had to lie to him. Not once, not twice, but 7 times just to get it. 7 times. Was it worth it? Well, in Jacob's mind, it was worth it. All right? As we continue to verse, I almost lost my footing, 30. As soon as Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, and Jacob had left the presence of his father, Isaac, his brother Esau arrived from hunting. He had also made some delicious food and brought it to his father. And he said to his father, "Let my father get up and eat some of his son's game, so that you may bless me." But his father Isaac said to him, "Who are you?" He's confused. He answered, "I am Esau, your firstborn son." And Isaac began to tremble uncontrollably. "Who was it then," he said, "who hunted game and brought it to me? I ate it, and all before you came in, I have blessed him. Indeed, he will be blessed." He shook uncontrollably. Even though he knew something just wasn't right, but the smell of Esau's clothes, never mind. This is my son. Because who's hairy? Who smells like my son but my son Esau? And now that he's coming to that realization that he has been deceived, and he's given his blessing to someone else. When Esau heard his father's words, he cried out loud, a bitter cry, and said to his father, "Bless me too, my father, bless me." But he replied, "Your brother came deceitfully and took your blessing, took your birthright, took your blessing." And again, this was all done by his mother, Rebecca. They knew what they was doing. Again, they didn't think about the consequences. How many times has it ever happened to you where somebody did something so deceiving to take something from you? It can be that promotion at your job. It can be that place on the basketball team where somebody did something deceitfully just to snatch it from you. You was rightly deserved for it. But somebody wanted it so bad, they was willing to do whatever it took to get it. Lie on you. Lie on you. Lie on you, assassinate your character. Just to take something from you. I don't want you to have it. I want to have it. We both was going to be on the team. I just was going to be the captain. But you couldn't fathom that because you wanted to be the captain. I feel like I should be the captain. And then you scrape, you lie, you scheme to get that position. And I know well that it don't feel good that you had to do that in order to get that. It doesn't. You can't say it does. Because it wasn't earned the right way. So it's not going to feel good. He took his blessing deceitfully. Verse 36. So he said, Isn't it rightly named Jacob? For he has cheated me twice now. He took my birthright, and look, now he has even taken my blessing. Then he asked, Haven't you saved a blessing for me? But Isaac answered Esau, Look, I have made him a master over you, have given him all his relatives as his servants, and have sustained him with grain and new wine. What then can I do for you, my son? It came to fruition what God said was going to happen. That the oldest was going to serve the youngest. So God already said this was going to happen. Do you think it would have happened if Rebecca didn't do what she did? I believe so, but it probably wouldn't have happened in that lifetime. It probably would have happened further in the lineage or the descendants. It may have. Esau said to his father, Do you have only one blessing, father? Bless me too, father. And Esau wept loudly. He was filled with anguish. His father Isaac answered him, Look, your dwelling place will be away from the richness of the land, away from the dew of the sky above. You will live by your sword, and you will serve your brother. But when you rebel, you will break his yoke from your own neck. Esau was furious. He was upset. Because not only did you take my blessing, you took all the blessing. And it is none for me. All you thought about was your selfish greed and your desires. You didn't care how it would hurt the next person. All you did was think about yourself. And it says in the book that Esau held a grudge against his brother Jacob because his father had blessed him, had given him his blessing. And he was determined in his heart. The days of mourning for my father are approaching. Then I will kill my brother Jacob. See, this is the consequence I was telling you about. They wasn't thinking, they didn't have the foresight. Jacob didn't have the foresight this time. He didn't think it would get to the point where Esau, his own brother, would be plotting now, I'm going to take him out. Neither did the mother. But that's how far they pushed him. You know, they say, don't poke a bear. That's exactly what they did. They poked a bear. When those type of emotions and that stuff is involved, we don't know how people are going to react. Again, I said sin was crouching at the door, sowing discord. How would you feel, truthfully? How would you feel if you was in the same shoes as Esau right now? How would you react? Have you had an Esau moment? Have you been in that situation? How did it make you feel? Yes, we're supposed to walk in love. We're supposed to love one another, but that goes both ways. You never supposed to turn your back on your brothers and your sisters. You always supposed to do right by them all the time. And I know this was God's plan. This is what's supposed to happen. But I don't think it was supposed to happen like this. We don't need it to happen like this. We always need to be there for one another. Never trying to anger anybody or be deceitful or lie and all that. You're going to be blessed. But I'm stuck on the fact that Jacob couldn't just be satisfied with what he had. He had to take it all. And there's consequences to your actions. This is the beginning of the consequences, to the point where he was willing to kill his own brother. Esau wanted to kill his own brother. There's another brother that killed another brother early on into the Bible. And that's where I get the sin is crouching at your door. And this was with Cain and Abel. See, if I get this correct, I want to make sure I get this correct. Cain gave a portion of his blessing to God, that basically to show him, I'm thankful for what you've done for me. And this, I want to give you this as an offering. But Abel's offering wasn't so good. I'm sorry, I got it crossed. Abel gave the offering that was good and pleasing in God's sight. But Cain, not so much. And that's when God said that sin is crouching at your door. You're letting that anger consume you. His anger consumed him so much that he killed his brother. He killed his own brother. And now we see it once again. Sin is destructive. And it ain't going to just be one little thing. It's a snowball effect. And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until it rolls you over or it explodes. And then it's uncontrollable then. That's exactly what's taking place right here. So as we continue, when words of his older son Esau were reported to Rebekah, he summoned the younger son Jacob and said to him, listen, your brother Esau is consoling himself by planning to kill you. So now, my son, listen to me. Flee at once to my brother Laban in Haran, and stay with him for a few days until your brother's anger subsides, until your brother's rage turns away from you, and he forgets what he has done, what you have done to him. Then I will send for you and bring you back from there. Why should I lose you both in one day? Something that just stuck out to me. And it says that until your brother's rage turns away from you and he forgets what you have done to him. No, it's what y'all two done to him. You planted that seed. And the seed that you planted was discord. So you see, she said, I'm going to take the curse. I'm going to take the full brunt of responsibility. But then here, she pushes it back on her son. You did this. I didn't do this. My hands is clean. This is what I'm getting from the text. Until his anger and he forgets what you have done to him. Not what we done to him, what you have done to him. Then I will send for you. But until then, I need you to go live with my brother. Until then. Okay? Now, I know what you're thinking. Later on, Jacob was blessed. Isaac said, he's going to be blessed. Believe you me, he's definitely going to be blessed. But something was a consequence that happened to Jacob. And this is where I want to skip a little bit further. When you go to Genesis 29 and 25, right? Genesis 29 and 25. And I just want to make sure that I'm focusing on this part alone, okay? So to give you a little update, he went to go live with Rebecca's brother, and he came across a beautiful woman named Rachel. Rachel, all right? And she was so beautiful. Oh, he loved her. Oh, he loved her so much. So much that he wanted to marry her. Okay? So, Laban said that, yeah, you can have Rachel. All you need to do is work for me for 7 years. That's the word. 7. 7 years. And you can marry Rachel. Okay? He worked the 7 years. He did the hard labor. Whatever he did it. So after the 7 years, he said, listen, I did my 7 years of service. I want my wife now. I want her now. And he said, okay, let's have a feast. Let's have a feast and everything. And yeah, you're gonna get your wife. So after the feast, the next day, they sent the daughter into the room with him. And he slept with her. Okay? He slept with her. He woke up the next day, rolled over, and what to his surprise, it wasn't Rachel. It was Leah. Leah's the oldest daughter. This is what happened. 25. When morning came, there was Leah. So he said to Laban, what have you done to me? Wasn't it for Rachel that I worked for? Why have you deceived me? Sounds familiar, right? That's the pot calling the kettle black, ain't it? You led in deceit to take your brother's blessing. You ran into deceit to trick your father into giving you that blessing. And then your mother helped you with that. Now the shoe is on the other foot, and now you've been deceived, and it don't feel good. Now it might be the grand consequence that most people would want to see Jacob. You wanted to see him be cursed and this, that, and the third. But God had a different way of teaching him how to respect, how to honor others. And this is exactly what happened. 7 years he worked for 7 lies he told to get Rachel, but he didn't get Rachel. He got Leah instead. So then Laban said to him, okay, that's not our custom. That's not our custom to give the youngest away. The oldest goes first. But if you work for another 7 years, then you can have Rachel. And that's what he did. It also teaches later on that when he wanted to have kids. He wanted to have kids with Rachel. He wanted an heir. He wanted a son. Rachel couldn't have kids, but Leah could. See, he loved Rachel so much. He loved her so much, but it says that he loved Leah. It was so. But God kept blessing Leah to have kids, not Rachel. The one that he loved the most. That goes back to Isaac and Rebecca, that favoritism that they had. One loved more than the other. Especially, you can see that in Rebecca. She loved Jacob more. Look what she was willing to do to make sure her son prospered. Fast forward, now you got that same dynamic, that same situation with Leah and Rebecca. You wanted so bad with her, but God said no. You're going to have her with Leah. Eventually, he gave a servant. He had a baby with the servant. And then eventually later on, then he was able to have a baby with Rachel. See, God don't forget. He's going to teach you. He's going to teach you the lesson. You can't go through life doing wrong and thinking that you ain't going to be no consequences of it. But he wanted to make sure that Jacob understood that very well. very well. So he was deceived, and now he knows how it feels. Later on in the chapters, Esau and Jacob actually mended their relationship. It says that he ran when he sent gifts ahead of him just to slow his anger, just in case he's mad. But when they finally seen each other, he said Esau ran to him and hugged him, and they wept. He forgave him. He let it go. Are you ready to let things go? Or are you going to let it keep eating at you when somebody has done you wrong? At Dream, we talk about forgiveness all the time. And this is no different. No matter what a person has done to you, will you forgive them for what they've done to you? Will you still walk in love? Or will you continue to walk in hate? Will you continue to let that thing consume you so much that you are willing to risk it all? Forget the blessings. Forget, I'm so focused on being mad at you right now that I'm blocking all the blessings that's coming to me. Because God don't bless mess. He doesn't. He wants y'all to be uprighteous. He wants y'all to love one another. He wants y'all to respect one another. He wants you to honor him. And how do you honor him? By honoring others. By honoring others. So do not forfeit your inheritance, but most of all, do not do deceitful things to get your blessings. Your blessings is coming. Your blessings are coming. Just be humble. Just be honest. When you live by God's word, everything will fall in place. He said he'll never leave you nor forsake you. So that means he's got your best interest in mind. Once again, I want to thank y'all for tuning in to another session with us. Dream is more than happy not to answer your questions, to be there for you, to help you whatever you are going through. God is smiling right now to have you right now in the presence of listening to his word. And I am praying that everything that has been taught today has touched you in some way, shape, or form. That'll cause you to make changes. I keep repeating that. It causes you to make changes in your life, to see things in a different light. We thank you for you tuning in, your likes, your comments, your subscribes. We thank you for your word of mouth, of getting it out there, knowing that we are here to do a mission. We are here to make sure that the body grows strong daily. Pray to your Heavenly Father right now. Ask him to come into your life. Ask for forgiveness in everything. Give it all to him and trust and believe he's going to show it. He's going to make a way. He's definitely going to make a way. Again, from the Dream family, we thank you. We love you. Take care and y'all be safe.